Real quick, man, just wanted to apologize to you guys before you watch. We actually discovered after doing all the filming for this episode that one of our mics was unplugged. So sorry to all you TaMarcus fans. We did all we could to sharpen up his sound, so you'll be able to hear him, just not as loud and as clear as you would the other guys. So we do apologize for that. We will definitely be sure to make those things better in the future. But other than that, we hope you guys enjoy. Peace.
Check me out, y'all.
Oh, I'm on? All right. What's up? Back room. We back at it again. Today's topic is manhood. The misconception of a man.
Yeah.
The misconception. All right, so we're going to start off with just explaining what a man is to you. Darrell, you go first.
Ooh, this is a deep question. We should have started with the simpler ones first. I gotta think a little bit for this one.
Shallow. Yeah.
What is a man? I mean, it's. Oh man, that's a. I don't know how to answer. I don't know how to not answer that in a general way, but I guess
Ain't a woman.
I'm gonna take the easy way and say he knows his creator. He knows his origin. You can't. You have to know the beginning to know anything after that. So that's what I would say, is that he knows who God is, which probably, a lot of people probably ain't gonna like, but oh well, that's my answer.
Church. Hashtag church.
He who knows who God is.
Yeah, that's what I get.
All right. TaMarcus?
I piggyback that statement, but I'll take it further. You have to not only know him, but be in line and in step with like his order of things. Like you're not the, what they call it, the captain of my own ship and all that kind of stuff. Like nah, you gotta be in tune with what he's got going on, following the path that he's marked for you. The better you can do that, mastering that, because that's a task. Like I would say with marks, that makes that man great, because they know how to walk in foot with what God got going on.
What do you say to the unbeliever if the definition of a man is he who knows who God is, he who gives his life over to the Lord, who lives for the Lord, whatever, like all those, I don't want to call them Christianese, but Christianese,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying, answers. What do you say to the young fellow who's like, I don't even believe in Jesus, and am I not a man now? Like,
yeah.
What would you say, explaining to them like how they can't achieve that without it.
Yeah. So would you say that manhood is unachievable for the unbeliever?
Yes. Do I need to defend that?
Sure. I want to hear it.
Let Miles go first, because I think he has something to say.
Shoot for it.
I was really ready for the really in-depth conversation, from Moody Bible. I agree with about it's not attainable as far as the true definition of it. You can't become something like, we want to give people a title, even though like the title can only be given by the creator. Mm-hmm. So like if I want to actually say who is a man, what is a man, who is the person that created man, they know the actual intended purpose for that thing. So like if I invent like the inventor of table, who knows better what a table is all about than the person that invented it? Yeah. So we have to go to the maker of it in order to actually find out what the true definition is. So if you don't have a relationship with Christ, the Lord, don't know God, there's no way that you can have the true definition of it, because you're always going to get a watered down version from somebody else.
Yeah, that's where I was going when I was saying that you have to know something's origin in order to go from anything after that. You have to be able to, I guess, ascend fully to manhood. I mean, at best, without knowing God, you'd be able to kind of exemplify some caricatures, in a sense, of what manhood is. So you'd be able to kind of replicate these particular attributes or characteristics of such. But the essence of manhood comes, it only comes from the Creator. And it's, hopefully people in this conversation, it won't, or listening to this conversation, it won't be like, oh, and just automatically rule it out. But I mean, it just kind of is what it is, you know. Like, I mean, I think you hit it right on the head, Miles. When, you know, it's like we were made in His image. You know what I'm saying? And it starts with Him, and who better to go for the definition of a man, other than the one who created him.
So there's a separation between the attributes, or not the attributes of a man, and the, I guess, makeup of
the essence of a man. The essence
of it, yeah, like what a man actually
just
does.
Like there's attributes of a Christian, but there's you can replicate or duplicate kind of Christian things that people do, but that doesn't necessarily make you a Christian. You know what I'm saying? You can do things that are included in the definition of manhood, but does not define a man in and of itself.
Okay,
is what I'd say.
So I pay tithes and I'm good to my wife. I don't cheat. Yeah, that don't make you a Christian. That
don't make you a Christian.
All right. I work. I provide for my daughter and my wife, but that don't make you a man.
All right.
It's a choice. Like, you choose to be a man. Like, every guy is given X and Y chromosomes. He a male, but how many choose to be a man?
Yeah.
Like, that's a choice thing. Like, you don't just you hit 16, got your permit and stuff. Now you're a man. Nah, because there's some people that like literally they became a man at a much younger age because they chose that.
Yeah.
And there's some that don't become a man till 50 by choice. So I think it's a big thing. I know that Tamar's are gonna have that really deep, theological.
I was gonna say, before I take it there, like, just with what y'all were saying, because those things in and of themselves like aren't sustainable. So for instance, the person who loves their wife, if they just love their wife because that's what you should do and she's a good person, well, what do you do when life happens and it gets hard and she's not as great as she was before, and or if it's superficial and she gains weight, then how do you feel about those things in and of itself fade. But if I love my wife because of the commitment that I have to my maker, who's unchangeable, then I love her in spite of herself. So then now you have two different motivations for why I'm actually doing what I'm doing.
Shut up,
What would you say then because you mentioned the person who became a man at a young age? I mean, like in biblical times or whatever, it was like, 13, you know what I'm saying? Touch this hot coal, you know what I'm saying? He's a man now.
You're a man.
Sniff that extra man.
Say it with your chest.
You know what I'm saying? And he's a man now. Do you think it's at all accurate to call a 13-year-old who, I'll use myself for example. When I was 16, stuff got pretty bad. Tamarcus, me and Tamarcus grew up together. He can attest to this. We got to a point where I had to make it on my own. Me, I had 2 sisters in the house or whatever, and a single parent mom. Mom fell to alcoholism, and so it was like, all right, Nick, get a job. You know what I'm saying? Fend for your own kind of thing. You paying bills now. You paying blah, 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 blah. And out between all of that, I knew the Lord. You know what I'm saying? I met the Lord at a very young age of 10. So at that point of 10 or that point of 16, when it's like, all right, paying bills and all that, what would you say a person in that situation became a man?
I could say, because I'm in the same kind of situation, but I didn't know the Lord until 16, and then but I made a real choice to really follow him at 20. I think about 18, 19 is when I really came to my own with that. And so that's when I truly feel like I started becoming a man, because I chose to follow the path that was given to me. Like, before, I got all the attributes of a man. I can be a man, I can grunt, I can yell. I mean, you think about it. What you think about a man, for society? Yeah. From what society tells us a man, I was a man at 14. From what society says, I was, out getting it. I was taking care of business in school, but also was, kind of hustling, trying to make sure I could take care of my family, because my dad wasn't around at the time. So I was working, not clocking in or anything like that, but I was, cutting grass, doing,
washing cars,
trying to sell them CDs, trying to make them $2 little bootlegs and stuff like that. They put groceries on the table. But from actual, the way I see manhood, though, is that when you choose to honestly go against what the culture is telling us, that's when you can really find yourself coming to your own as a man, because being a man is difficult. You have to really die to yourself on everything, because being a man is so much not about you. Dealing with how the kid that you say, at 10, let's say they find the Lord, but do they start going away from the natural stuff? Because the natural, which is our flesh and everything, that's the natural. When you become a man, you put those things away. And so that's when we find ourselves.
Yeah. I'm going to get a little sound effect to start
I'm about to say that's a good idea.
And so I just feel like when you start putting away those things, like even when the Bible says to flee the evil desires of your youth, like when do you start going away from what's natural to you and start doing something that's, you know, supernatural, which is what being a man is. It's being supernatural, because if we're the image of God, he's supernatural, then we have to become supernatural to where it's like, I deny myself every single day. It's supernatural, because people don't normally do that.
Yeah.
I sure didn't do it as a boy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get money, didn't have none, but I was trying to get it, trying to get girls, trying to get all this other stuff, and that's a big part of, you know, the difference between, was I a man at 10 or 14, or did I actually become a man later on in life? And that's how I feel about it.
I even think, like, you have to, like, it's a process. It's just like somebody, like, picking up a basketball and, like, I'm a ball player now. And you be like, well, yeah, but, like, as they practice and they put time in and they in the gym and then, you know, they get real, then you be like, you watch them play and you're like, oh, that dude hoop. Like, you know, like, he got that. So, like, you start to develop and increase. So I feel like at the point where you, like, as a guy, as a man, when you give your life to Christ and you commit yourself to that walk, like, you begin the journey of manhood. And as time goes on, you start to embody fully what a man looks like more and more, the more you start to look like, you know, the blueprint.
Right. So this ain't a situation where you just get stamped as a man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
bam, thank you, Jesus. Get your oil on your forehead and bam,
Yeah,
I'm a man now.
that was a good answer. That was a really good answer, and I think it ties into you can't come to the, I guess, apex or to the omega point of that process of manhood without knowing God. You can't do that. So you can ascend on the journey, but you'll never reach the final destination without knowing who God is, which is why along the journey you can start to exemplify some of the characteristics of manhood. So being responsible, paying your bills, you know, having a budget, taking care of your woman, those things like that. That's all a part of the journey, but you won't fully realize what it is to be a man until you know the one who created.
Obviously, there are influences in place that us as believers wouldn't really prefer, that kind of suggest this is what manhood is, through different media sources, music videos, or just music in general, movies, reality TV, those kind of things suggest what manhood is. Is there any accuracy in any of those mediums in terms of the attributes of a man?
We ain't got cable. We watch Netflix and Hulu. So I'm steady watching all the shows on there, and all I see is, like, there's this, and this is not to slam on those couples who live together before they get married, but typically the process was one way before, and now I'm seeing, like, a lot of TV shows are saying, instead of, oh, he gave me a ring, he's gonna propose, it's, oh, he gave me a key to his apartment. And it's like, well, I mean, I you know, if the circumstances are carved out and you have to do that, I guess that's cool, but it seems like they're placing in the process now, you start dating, if he gives you a key to the apartment, then you know you're ready to get married. And it's like, no, I don't really think that's, you know, and a man going forward with that motion kind of depicts, you know, I don't think that's the way it should be, you know, or if there's just as far as in music, you know, about how men do women with just running through them and stuff like that.
Skeeter,
you know,
and the leader.
Yeah, it's like,
It's still cheaper to keep it up.
you know, and people are seeing this stuff, you know, and our young dudes is you know, they're seeing all this, and I mean, they don't have anything else to help them define what a man is, so they're seeing that and just associating that with he's grown, he's seems to be of a mature status, and these are things he has, so I must, you know, if I want that, which we should want manhood, but if I want that, then I have to get those things. I don't think there's anything out there other than, well, no, I don't think that there's anything out there, you know, not besides the Lecrae's, and, you know, if there's anybody else.
Okay, I was finna add, you said the Cosby?
Bill Cosby, man, the Cosby Show. That was the closest to what I ever felt like watching the TV. I was like, this is as close as they might possibly get.
Yeah, see, so that's where I was going, because I heard a speaker one time, a preacher was talking about, you know, how we look to all of these media sources to tell us how families should look. The My Wife and Kids, the Bill Cosby shows, the he said that 70s show, but that's an awful example in my opinion. But you know, not bashing that preacher. But anyway, I'm thinking like, dang, My Wife and Kids is like, that's how I would ideally want to run my house or whatever, because it's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the Cosby shows. The Cosby Show, but it's because it's ideal. You know, doctor and lawyer get together, have a lot of kids, a nice big house. Yeah. You know, no struggle, so to speak, or whatever. But I don't think that's at all accurate. You know what I mean?
Also, the fact that all that stuff is old too. Like you think about, and I don't watch TV, so I don't know much on it. But like all this stuff, like you look at all those things that you could call ideal 90s television shows, 80s television shows. Like you look at stuff now. Ain't none of that. Like you can't just think about it and be like, you know what, I would like to run my house like that. And you're like, no.
I'm loving hip hop now.
Oh
boy,
oh
Lord.
my gosh,
yeah,
world star.
You know what? And I think that's that's why I said a lot of that stuff really is informing the culture of what they think a man should be. You know, like, man, I guess I don't want to say names specifically, but
say it, bro. Trying to boost my rating.
I mean, I saw one episode. The dude's name, I guess, is Saigon or whatever. He's kind of swole.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he wants to do all this for his son. And that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Provide for your, for your kids, but you care about the mother of your children. You know what I'm saying? As well. That's what I mean by some characteristics, but not fully ascending to. It's like it may make you feel a bit better because you provide for your son. You should provide for your son, but manhood is a holistic view. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you're not a man just because. I mean, if you providing for your child and want to spend time with them and financially giving to them, but then you treat their mama like trash, it's like that's not. You still kind of missing the point.
Because
you know
they
what
see
I'm
that.
saying? Yeah, you still kind of missing. Yeah. And so young dudes think that's okay to.
Pay your bills. And
I'm providing for my kid. I ain't got nothing to do with. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need to be concerned with your well-being. I just need to do what I see this dude doing on TV, and we like to think that doesn't inform our culture, but it does. Like it really influences us in a way that we don't realize.
Manhood, I think, forces you to do the hard stuff as well. Like the worldly aspect, like it's easy to you can just exempt stuff like that. Like I'm gonna take care of my kids, but I don't like fooling with my baby mama, so I'm just letting her like whatever. Like I ain't gonna do anything with that. Or I'm working, I'm doing this, but I'm not going. I ain't gonna do this, I ain't gonna do that. And you can't like pick and choose. Like you were saying, aspects. You have to. That's part of manhood. Like, it's hard. It doesn't come natural. I think you were saying earlier. Like, it forces you to do things that are outside of what you naturally want to pull to. And a lot of what we see in TV is just, things that, I mean, to be quite honest, like comes natural to. It's natural for us to just want to try to get girls. It's natural for us to just, chase these little fleeting things. But like biblical manhood forces you to be like, you know what, just stick with one girl. And it's like, that's tough.
Real quick, explain for each of us. We'll just go through and explain who the primary influence on y'all were. Who was your primary influence in terms of you becoming or maturing as a man. To Marcus.
Me first.
We
gotta pick one.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm picking one, I'm definitely going with my dad. My dad showed me stuff that was completely counter to like what you would see in culture. And I think like that when I was little, like I didn't get it, but like growing up, now having a fiance and stuff, like it starts to make sense.
And you grew up with your pops in your house the whole time?
Yeah. And so like seeing how he treated my mom. And just little things that he did. For instance, my sister wrote a Father's Day card to him. And it was like all the reasons she loved him. She was like, everybody else got the better car, and he would always take the worst car. Everybody else, had the, made sure they had the clothes and this and that, and he would just wear what he had. Everybody else ate, and he would just eat what was left. Like those kind of things that like he taught me of like that sacrificial. Them first, then me. Not just for his wife, but also for his kids, also for other family members. It was just like those little things. Like I kept those.
It's tough, man, because I don't want to make it seem like I don't. I'm not going to say my father, but it's not because I've come to appreciate my father much more now than than I did in times past. And my father didn't make all of his choices when we were growing up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to make it seem like he doesn't influence me at all. But if we have to pick one, I really don't have a primary. But if we have to pick one, I would have to say it would be my Uncle Tony. It's my
Uncle Tony,
my youngest uncle. I know, right? He was really the only image of a faithful man that I saw coming up. I mean, going to his house was like vacations for us because we really didn't have money to go anywhere else, you know. So he's one that had the big house and you know, multiple cars. But he kind of kept himself. He always kept a really good composure, and even in times of frustration, he should just handle himself really well. You know, I mean, faithful to one woman, his kids are doing well. And, you know, he kind of had his corny times as the corny uncle that tried to introduce you to Christian rap when Christian rap was in that really whack phase, you know? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Listen to this little rascal.
You know, but he really, I think he really made me think about some things. I remember one time I was talking to him about a relationship I was in with a young lady. And he was like, "Do you plan on marrying that girl?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "Then why are you dating? Just think about it. Why?" And I was like, "Why am I dating her?" He was really the only holistic example that I saw. And I mean, there are plenty of other men who influenced, but if I had to pick one growing up, I'd say that's who it was.
First thing that comes to mind is Mr. Stan, who me and Tamarcus grew up underneath. But before Mr. Stan, there was Aaron Dixon. He was 30. He was a leader in church youth or whatever. But he was single and he had 2 kids. And he didn't have a college degree, but he was a mortgage broker. And he was going through school at the time. In addition to that, one of his kids was autistic. He owns a house in Louisiana or whatever that he's a landlord or whatever. So, I mean, I got to travel with him and go to that house and paint it and, you know, do the carpet and just kind of see how this cat lived. This was the first guy that let me see his life. Like, I stayed at his crib, you know what I'm saying, on many occasions. He took me to football games. He took me to this. And I didn't get a ton of him just feeding me Bible. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even get a ton of him just asking me questions and then saying, you know, but you should do this. I got so much of just watching him, you know what I mean? And that spoke volumes to me. Like, there's so many things that I just saw him do that say so much more and directly influenced my life as a husband, as, I mean, I ain't a father yet, but just as a man in general, a lot more than, you know, the words that I got from other people, you know what I'm saying? So, definitely Aaron Dixon.
Reverend Kreiner. Dude, like, he's married, got 2 girls, minister at church and everything. So, like, my dad wasn't around, and, you know, I love and respect my dad now. We've gotten closer. But just at the time, like, he just came in and just started doing stuff. Like, literally would make me sit down and just watch him. Like, I'll never forget, we had a time, he just popped through, opened on the car. He's like, "What's that?" And I was like, "An engine." He's like, "What's that?" "I don't know." Started telling me about it, and just like we'd had conversations all the time about just life, and I'd be like, "Why you do all this? Like, you got your own stuff to do." And he would never say anything, and like, you know, now coming after 10 years, you know, having that relationship with him, like, you know, just being able to say thank you now for all the stuff he did. Like, he don't got a whole lot. He owns his own trucking company. And, you know, it's crazy, like, working on a big old 18-wheeler. You know, it's a lot of stuff you learn about that. Like, when somebody tell you, you know, you need to make sure this is tied down, and like, you're like, man, he's just saying stuff. And all of a sudden, he tells you a story about when this wrench wasn't tightened down all the way and it flew over, hit him and knocked him out. And I was like, oh, I'm a little dude. You know, I ain't trying to have nobody knock me out like that. So I'm going to make sure this thing tightened down. Just learning small things from him. Like, it made a big impact on my life, you know, from doing stuff like that to just how I should treat a woman and, you know, conduct myself as a man. So that's the one person. I'm not going to try to slide anybody else in there because I have integrity.
Yeah, whatever.
Slugs.
But when would you say you officially became a man? Like, you just kind of looked at yourself and was like, I think I'm there, bro.
Let's go back that way.
I think actually becoming a man, I think it's like we said earlier, it's an ongoing process. So I think I could say when I actually started shooting for it, I would say like 18 or 19 is when I actually started trying to I can do this. I'm actually set my mind to to the Lord, but also to like, you know, not be so childish about stuff. Like actually like make things work, actually think things through, and not just do stuff off the cuff. Like them J's coming, I'm finna buy them things.
Yeah.
Know you got $12.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna buy a $120 pair of shoes
Yeah.
on credit and food stamps. Like that ain't gonna happen.
I would say around 16, 17 is when I really started pushing for manhood. That's when I first stopped and said, you know what, bro, I'm gonna learn how to tie a tie. And I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna start wearing dress shirts or whatever. Because I mean, at the time, I thought that's what made up a man.
Right,
but that was when
you were
mentally I had
conscious,
to,
just aware of.
Yeah, like
of
I
the
was
journey.
like, okay, now I'm finna see what this is really about.
Yeah, for me, it was in college, and you know, I'm a member of a great organization, Gamma Phi Delta Christian Fraternity Incorporated. Cheap. Anyway,
Throwing plugs in here.
you know, but I was a DP, what they call Dean of Pledges, over 3 different lines. In which, if anybody doesn't know what an orientation process is, basically it's a process by which you bring members into the organization. And so I had to lead several groups of guys, and I was responsible for our chapter on our campus, on our college campus. And if there was anything that got decided, it was me who was doing the decision making. At the time, I was the only member, in a sense, an active member. So I had to do all the financial planning, all the fundraising, all the event planning, all the recruiting, all of the curriculum development. And so at that point in my life, it was like, I have to make these decisions. If I don't do it, then this is going to fail. You know, this is not going to progress. You know, so I think that's really when I became aware to where it's like, yo, your decisions matter. Because if you don't prepare, and if you don't really think about what you're doing, it has effects, and these are the repercussions of those actions. And so from there, it was like, you know what? Okay, I'm aware now. I need to start getting real about what I'm doing and pay attention. So for me, it was, I don't know, I guess, when did I pledge? It was 06. I don't even know how old I am now. So when it happened was, it was 2000.
No, you old.
I think I was like 19 or 20 or something like that. That was when I really became aware.
I think for me, growing up, I grew up in the church. I got saved when I was like in the 5th grade. And so, I mean, it was almost a sense of where like I could like do no wrong in the eyes of like most people. Like I was, Timo, the good, you know, the good. So I always, that got to my head. And like to this day, the first person from the church that like checked me, Miss Trinae, like one day she told me,
them like, church mothers, they'll do it to you.
Yeah, she was like, you're just, and I'm gonna mess with how she pronounced R. She's like, you're just arrogant. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm me. Like, there's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
It was about the time, I think I was like 17 or 18 at the time, about to graduate college. But that following summer, I was working at camp as a counselor. And I just remember, like, I think from the responsibility that was going on there and just some of the things that I was learning, like, the God started to humble me, and I started to realize, I was arrogant, and I was foolish enough to think that I could do all of these things and do so much stuff under my own power. Like, I had it all figured out. I thought I knew the answers. And it was like at that point where I was like, dang, like, I need help. Like, I need someone to like walk with me. I need to, you know, take heed of the stuff that, you know, my mentors are trying to tell me. So kind of like you, that's when I started to like think, like, I became aware of like, okay, I need to start to like own this and like take this journey serious. And so, yeah, I was 19.
Yeah.
Folks, I appreciate y'all tuning in. This is The Back Room. Be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We'll see y'all next time.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.